So I'm going to talk about the trauma bond. The trauma bond is very powerful. You will not know the effect of the trauma bond until it's time for you to, you're going through a discard, and it's time for you to leave that person. They have run off, or they have left you, or you're deciding to separate from them. That is when you're going to know the real effects of a trauma bond. That's where you're going to know how strong is a trauma bond. The narcissist does this trauma bond on purpose. They're initiating a trauma bond on purpose. They may know it if they are the lesser ones, but sometimes they don't even know it. They may know it if they're the greater ones, the aware ones, self-aware. But the lesser ones don't even know it, that they're doing it, but they do it anyway, okay? And I've broken out of a couple of trauma bonds over the years. But the most intensive trauma bond I've broken out of was the one that, the moment I left the narcissist, the previous narcissist. By the time I left the spiritual narcissist, I was aware of these trauma bonds. So I was aware of these things at the discard. So I broke out very quickly because I knew what to do, okay? I knew what had happened, and then I knew what to do to break these cords, okay? Because there are some cords you have to cut if you want to permanently break free from the narcissist, all right? Now, the narcissist, we all know the trauma bond, which usually they may set up through sex. So you guys know that these narcissists, normally they will try to sleep with you very quickly. They want to get you very quickly in bed. That is one of the most common ones, the most common way to trap you, okay, to bond with you, because they did this bond with you. First of all, why is the narcissist bonding with you? The narcissist is bonding with you because they know that it's just a matter of time until you're going to catch up on them and you're going to catch up on their games. So they know that a time is going to come when they have nothing more to say. You're seeing everything that they're doing, and you're believing that that whole thing and the entire whole thing is toxic. It's a project, it's toxic, and you're most likely going to leave. So they need a very serious attachment to you. So there's no why you see narcissists, what they do when they come into contact with you. So what they usually do, they are going to bond with you sexually, of course, which is the common one that many people know, most of us know. But they also bond with you through physical items. When the narcissist is buying for you something, they are picking out the most expensive items. And sometimes they're doing this very fast, you know. So normally in the beginning, they're picking up the most expensive dress, the most expensive shoes, a very big raid, the most expensive phone. Because they know that when the time comes for you to leave, you're going to have to think very hard before getting rid of those things. It's going to be very difficult for you to get rid of them. And whenever you look at those items are going to remind you of those people. And that's what makes you miss them and want them to come back in your life, okay? And usually get hovered into those entanglements. Did you notice that when you leave a narcissist, and then you're going back in those pictures, you know, you're looking at these phones, you know, they bought you this watch, and they bought you these perfumes, they bought you this car, very, very expensive stuff, you know. Sometimes they're not doing this. Actually, they're not doing this because they love you. They're only doing this to manipulate you to think that they do love you. That's why they're buying for you these expensive items. A person who loves you in any way They do not have to go to the shop and buy for you a $20,000 ring or a $10,000 ring or a $50,000 watch. You know, those kind of things. You don't need that to prove that you love somebody. You don't need that. You know, even if you need it, even if you need to do it, maybe there has to be necessity. Even if you need it, you do not have to do it in the first weeks. You know, in the first days you just met somebody, you don't even know who they are, you don't even know where they live. Sometimes even you don't even know their second name. And then you're buying them a trip out of the country to a very expensive holiday. You don't even know these people, you don't know what you're taking, okay? So that's how you really know that you're dealing with a narcissist. They don't really take a lot of time to know you. They don't take a time to understand you. They don't want to know the details. They're very much interested into getting their hooks very deep in your skin so that they can now secure you as a source of supply. So you're simply a source of supply. Is the reason as to why you see after this phase of the love bomb, they will stop praising you, you know. All of a sudden you are too ugly for them. All of a sudden you're too fat for them. All of a sudden they're starting these fights around with you. There are no more presents. The love bomb is finished. Now, I broke out of the spiritual narcissist. When I broke away with the spiritual narcissist, I had to get rid of very many items as well. Because I discovered that there was a love bomb thing going on, you know what I mean? There was this love bombing going on. And when I broke out of that entanglement, that's when I discovered that, oh, so there was all these things happening. This person was bringing in to tie me up to them, okay? Because they need those manipulative ways to tie you up. And sometimes when you're dealing with a spiritual narcissist, it can get very serious because a spiritual narcissist will also put some more energy on those items. Let me say, for example, they buy you an item, let me say perfume. They may cast specific spells on those perfumes, okay? So whenever you're going to wear those perfumes and spray them on your body, is the more connected you're going to continuously get connected to them. So it's like the energy they put on those items is very intense energy. Sometimes they're like I've said, they may even sometimes cast certain spells on those items because they want you to get those items for yourself and you'll be using them on a daily basis. Even if sometimes they finish, you will see them, they run back and buy the new ones. You know, let's say for example, it's a perfume. When I was breaking away from the spiritual narcissist, I discovered that I was breaking a very powerful code, okay? Is the reason as to why I'm sharing with you guys this video. When I was breaking away from a spiritual narcissist, I discovered that I was breaking out of a very, very powerful code because there were some things, some items that I had that were given me. Most of the time they will give you these things. Oh, you know, this is a present, you know, I don't know, this Valentine's Day, your birthday, whatever. They will give you some of these items, but these items, guys, pay very close attention. You know, why have I usually been telling you guys to declutter? When you're living a narcissist, there is things that you're supposed to get rid of in your house. For you to know where the energy lies in those items, you have got to see the item that you're struggling to get rid of. Shall I repeat this for you one more time? There's a very expensive perfume that you've been used to. That person is gone. But you're feeling your energy too much attached to that perfume, or a sofa, or a bed, or there's this Rolex watch that they bought you as a present. You are struggling to get rid of that item. That is where the energy is. So they have even sometimes cast specific spells on these items because they want you to actually use these items for yourself. Sometimes they may buy for you things like cups. Like I remember personally, I received a cup with this picture. You know, there was a picture of me and the narcissist on the top. They had put on this cup. They're like there was this design. The cup was designed, custom made, with a picture of us on this cup. But for some reason, I did not even use that cup. I never even put any drink in that cup. I never used it the entire time. So as soon as I broke away, that's the very first thing I broke. So you have got to break out of these covenants. If it's a perfume, it does not matter how expensive it is, ladies and gentlemen, go take that perfume outside and crush it on the ground. And when you're crushing it on the ground, you have got to say some words. It's like you're going to speak. What are you trying to do? You're trying to break out of that trauma bond. You're trying to break the cords with that particular individual, because that thing, those items, they have got a certain energy with them. They are not similar. They are not simple items like you see them on the surface. On this 3D, they have got an attached energy on them, and that energy is intended to bond you with those individuals. So if there are plates, you have to go and crash those plates on the floor. Make sure that those pieces break. There could be perfumes, there could be, let me say, for example, other items. It can be shoes, or it could be clothes, or things like that. Do not give those items to anyone. Do not send them to the charities. Do not give them those items to anyone, because they have got an energy that is not supposed to move on to somebody else. So do not give those things to charities and things like that. If it has come from the narcissist, ladies and gentlemen, you have got to be sure to throw away those things to the bin, the pit. Throw them in the rubbish bin. If they are plates, you have to break them. Those kind of watches and stuff like that, I don't know, they bought you a laptop, you have got to crack those things, because those things have hold and energy. And you do not want that energy to be a part of anyone. For me, it's the reason as to why I'm not even buying second-hand things. I don't like walking into these second-hand shops and just picking up items because they are too cheap. An item may be too cheap, but you don't even know what you're carrying into your house. Do you know that there are sometimes you walk into those kind of charities and you pick some stuff and you bring them into your house, and all of a sudden you start running into problems. Everything starts going west. You are doing well the other week, everything starts going down, because there's some items you went because they were so cheap, and you brought them into your house. They were being used by somebody that you don't even know. How about you thinking that, okay, you could be buying something that belonged to a witch, for example. So they passed on, and then there are these items, and you're just going around to the second-hand shops. I'm not saying, it's up to you. You're going to make your own decisions yourself. I'm just telling you what I really believe. And then you're bringing those things to your house, and you're using those things for yourself. How are you sure of the energy that is involved with those items, and who was the owner of those items before you bring them to your house? So you really have to tread carefully, ladies and gentlemen. We have got to tread carefully when we're dealing with some things. Everything is energy. People have been bonded for so many years just because of a very simple item. It was just a very simple perfume. It cost about $50, $40. They bought a perfume, and you've been using that perfume with love all the time, because you're adding the love onto that perfume, because you thought that it came from somebody who really loved you. And yet, in actual sense, they never did. Now you're using that perfume and those items. You're wearing that watch. You're wearing those shoes. And those shoes are completely driving you towards an opposite direction. You might even notice that sometimes you're wearing those shoes and going to occasions. And even sometimes you may get an accident on the way. And you don't even know where the accident came from. I'm letting you know in this video that narcissists, they need physical items to bond with you. As much as they need the sexual one, which is the most common one, the intimacy, to bond with you on a spiritual level, they also need physical items to bond with you. And how do you know that you have been extremely bonded with the person? Is when you are struggling to let those people go. That is the first thing. And when you're struggling whenever you look at certain items that they've bought you, you feel a certain connection with them. Oh, they bought me this beautiful pants, they bought me this beautiful dress, there's this watch, or there's this coach, they bought this beautiful coach from an expensive shop. You are getting problems and struggling to get rid of an item. That is where the energy is. I can guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, through experience, when you ever wake up one morning and decide to take that item out of your house, you're going to start releasing that energy. You're going to feel the energy lift out all of a sudden in your house. So when you are decluttering after the discard, you have got to do this thing in phases. So you need to go around and take your time, look around your house. Are there slippers? Is there a toothbrush? I don't know. there something that belong to those people? Because sometimes when they are coming, it's like they want to leave a print in your house that, oh, so that's their territory, and they're going to start dropping their things around your house. They will leave their toothbrush there, they will leave some slippers around, they will leave their jackets, they will leave their suits, they will leave their night dresses and things like that. So when you're discarding a narcissist, you have got to take your time and go around your house and start looking around for the things that they have left behind. If you see anything belongs to those people, it does not matter what it is, ladies and gentlemen, it does not matter how much it costs. Get it out of your house. You can burn it if you want. You can throw it in the trash if you can. But do whatever you can to get rid of those items, because those items, they hold a very negative energy. Sometimes you've been dealing with a very serious narcissist who is most likely a witch. So when they're giving you those things, they even cast specific spells on those items for you to use. Is why you've been seeing yourself struggling every now and then. You've been struggling with everything. However expensive those things you are using, there's nothing taken off for you. It's because of the energy that they have put on those items and passed it on to you. You are not the one walking around with that energy. You know what I mean? So those have been the bonds that these narcissists have been using to bond you for a very long period of time. If you want to break a trauma bond, one of the secrets you're going to do, on top of others which I've already talked about in so many videos, you are going to get rid of every physical item that you've gotten from those narcissists. It has got to go, ladies and gentlemen. You have got to let it go. There is no item is worth your life, ladies and gentlemen. Those $5,000 rings, I don't know how much it cost, it does not matter. None of those items is worth your life. Let it go, ladies and gentlemen. You will be free. Okay? So let us know what you think about this video in the comment section below. I hope I've said something that is going to help you guys on the journey. I wish you happy recovery and healing. If you would like to book a session, get in touch with me. All the links you need, you will find them in the description below. If you still want to donate or support my channel, everything you still need will be in the description below. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. Desmos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.